going on, y'all? Dear man, Rashawn checking in. You already know who it is, and that's what's up. Just want to holler at y'all real quick. The beautiful day. You know what I mean? Talk about a few things that's going to literally destroy the fabric of this country. And a lot of y'all, I know you at lunch, things of that nature. It's noon Eastern time. You know what I mean? So before we get popping, I want to say once again, I'm your host, Dear Man Rashawn. You see it? You know what I mean? Trademarked and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? You want to get the shirt or the merch from myself, rock group Sinful Lily, Marsha Parsons, the blues band, Whole Shot Blues, anything like that, just go to jetlanerecords.com. That's JETTLANE records.com. You know what I mean? Go get that merch, get them new music, new albums, new shows coming up, Lexington, Kentucky, the 14th of August, things of that nature. So this is gonna be a free show. You did what I'm saying, to jump off the tour. You know what I mean? So I'll be posting on all my different pages and stuff like that, you know what I mean, throughout the week. So y'all come on through Lexington, Kentucky. You in the house, come holler at your man, Dear Man Rashawn, Sinful Lily, and other great artists that's gonna be popping up there. You did what I'm saying? All right, let's get it cracking. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of y'all was talking about what I was talking about yesterday, especially on TikTok. I had like 66 different people asking me, what the hell is Project Esther? We're going to get into Project Esther, but let's crack on Project 2025 right now. And if you're at work, like I said, you got it on speakerphone, ain't nothing wrong with that, because this is going to affect everybody around you, black folk, white folk, the whole nine. Because what I want to do is holler at y'all about how this is going to affect everybody. You did what I'm saying? So let me pull up a few of my notes here, you know what I mean? And get it cracking for y'all. So first of all, you know, I'm a brother, so let's start with the black folk with Project 2025. You did what I'm saying? So we already know that they're trying to kill the civil rights movement. And what that does is the civil rights movement is not just about black folk, because what a lot of people don't understand is there's many women from all races, you did what I'm saying, in the civil rights movement as it was people of color. And what a lot of people understand is they were talking about, well, where's the Mexicans and all this and that? They were right there with us. You understand what I'm saying? But before the 50s, there was no such thing as Latinos. They was all black. They was all people of color. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. You did what I'm saying? They think that just because, you know, they were from Mexico, there's a different name for them down there. We're going to get into that on another story, but just in a nutshell, just understand what I'm saying to y'all. There was no thing such as Latino back in those days. You are all, as a matter of fact, they were literally considered white, and then they was put into the black category. You did what I'm saying? And then after that, you know, once Reagan came in after the late 70s, going into the 80s, they were considered, they had another category because all the gerrymandering was going on, because Republicans was killing the game. They was making the album for them back then. You did what I'm saying? Like I said, women's right, Roe versus Wade was only passed by one vote. One vote. You did what I'm saying? One vote. You know, and now since Trump finally got rid of Roe versus Wade, women have no rights. And we're going to talk about that in Project Esther. I mean, I know a lot of people was tripping on me because I said one time before, your pet dog had more rights in this country than your mom or your wife or your daughter. And it's actually the truth. And I'll be getting into that and let you know. And like I said, man, these are the things that they're not going to tell you. It doesn't matter if you watch Fox News, MSNBC, it doesn't matter. They're only going to tell you so much. You did what I'm saying? Because their plan comes from the higher ups. These are billionaires running this. You know what I mean? Remember back in 15 where Trump said, America is a business and I would run it as such. That would have been cool if this was a person that actually knew how to run a business. You got to remember now, Donald Trump had over 119 different businesses attached to his name. 99 of them failed. 104 of them have gone bankrupt. Just the company, not just him, the companies. So this is not a good businessman. Just because he had The Apprentice, he wasn't running The Apprentice. NBC was running The Apprentice. You got people in power. It's just like record labels. You dig what I'm saying? That's why back in the days, you know, even as independents, they was only doing but so much because you didn't know how to run what you needed to run. You dig what I'm saying? So it's different now. You understand what I'm saying? It's different now. But growing up, that's just how the game was in the 70s, 80s, even in the 90s. That's why a lot of the billionaires, they was taking the independents, dissolving them into Atlantic, into Columbia, into Universal, you know what I mean? And like that, and then just making them a big conglomerate up under them and just having the same people run it. So it made it look like they knew what they was doing. But anyway, with Project 2025, especially with black folk, like I said, it's literally gutting the Civil Rights Act. Civil Rights Act, you dig what I'm saying? That's why they was trying not to pass the Voting Rights Act from John Lewis, you know what I mean, before he passed. And even after he passed, you remember Mitch McConnell was one of the staunchest leaders of the of passing the John Lewis Act. You dig what I'm saying? Back in this was before Obama got elected. And then after Obama got elected and it came back up, he was one of the most staunch persons to get rid of it, because that's what Republicans knew they could only do but so much. They know they just couldn't come out here and say, we're going to get rid of civil rights. People gonna be like, man, y'all lost your damn mind. Harder we done fought for this. To be able to eat at this restaurant and drink out of this water fountain and ride this damn bus. I mean, y'all got to remember, black folk was living good. They was living all right without, you know, I mean, and the segregation thing, it was actually working. I know a lot of y'all like, man, what the hell you talking about, bro? Segregation wasn't working. No, it was. It literally was. Segregation was actually working for both parties, white and black folk. But that was the problem. It was working for white and black folk. It was the and black folk part that they had a problem with. I'm not lying, man. Look, on this page, I keep telling y'all, we are honest and we are open, and whatever you want to spark on it. You dig what I'm saying? You dig? I cannot afford to come on here and lie to y'all just for clickbaits and stuff. That's that foolishness that they be doing over there. I ain't got no time for all that. I'll give you facts, so whenever you go and check, you go, damn, man, actually was right. That's crazy. Segregation was actually a good thing. Remember, a couple weeks ago, they was going around asking people, and all the black people like, yeah, I don't mind segregation. Segregation's cool. And you were like, really? People like, really? How would you do that? Because we was eating. We was living good. Money was circulating. Cats was wearing all the finest gear. You know what I mean? We had our own education system. I mean, we came up with the bus transit. Greyhound and all this and that, the streets, we came up with that. We came up with refrigerated trailers, these reefer units that these truckers be talking about. When people talk about, yeah, got the old reefer unit back there, rattling all. Black folk came up with that. We was making it happen. We were doing it with, man, bro, we were doing our thing. We had our own Negro leagues and baseball, basketball, football. We was doing it. We was living, getting it in. And the white folk back in those days, they were like, hey, hold on a minute. That's why the most infamous one you heard was Tulsa, where they went and, the white police was helping the people burn down black businesses and stuff like that just because they was living good. You know what I mean? Now, that ain't happening now. I mean, shit, that ain't happening now. But back then, black folk, once they emancipated all this and that and got out of there, cats was just like, yo, all right, y'all over there, y'all want us to stay over here, that's fine. We'll stay over here. Yeah, baggage. We'll stay over here. But white folk back in those days, they still wasn't happy. They was like, no, damn nigga, real hard, get rid of them. It's like, damn, bro, y'all over there living, we over here living. What's the problem? Ain't nobody messing with you. You dig what I'm saying? Well, nobody mess with y'all. But y'all just got to come over here and mess with us. Like, damn, bro. And that's what it was. So, basically, the Republican Party at that time started realizing that the money circulation was way more extensive in the black communities across America than it was white communities. Real talk. They was only getting money for but certain places. Black folk would give money everywhere. So that's where desegregation came from. Just entering the schools. Black folk didn't want to go to white schools. They were made to go. The government was literally systematically, one by one, going in and basically making black schools shut down, because at the end of the day, you still had to get funded. Even though there was private things, there was only certain places that black folk could go to get money. You know what I mean? So the government literally started shutting down the money going to those communities. What they're doing now. You see Project 2025 all over again. This is what they're doing right now. You understand what I'm saying? With Project 2025. That is the whole systematic thing of the gerrymandering thing, what they're doing. People ever heard that word gerrymandering? You know, I mean, we've seen all these different cases where Republicans have basically just drawn all their maps. Hey, where all the black communities at? Okay, and they draw the maps. You dig what I'm saying? And they have to where if there were 10 seats for minority communities, now there's 6. They took away 4 seats. So now those same people now that was representing those communities, number one was Democrat. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep it a buck. And Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker of the House, you know, that was just kicked out, said it himself. He said it himself. This is what we do. This is our way of controlling power. This is our way of making sure that we keep power. This is what Kevin McCarthy said. You dig what I'm saying? This is what he said. Not me, him. And he said, if you look at the Republican Party, it looks like the biggest country club in America. All you see is us. And he did like this, like how we do. He said, all you see is us. He said, when you look at the Democratic Party, it looks like America. You see everybody. He said, so how are we going to legally fight that? We can't. This is what Kevin McCarthy said. You can go look it up. It's out there. You can go look it up. He said it. The Republican Party looks like the biggest country club in America. And he did this right here because he's white. And he did this right here, the biggest country club in America. But if you look at the Democratic Party, it looks like America. You know, so that's the whole get up. But like I said, education, you know, with the civil rights movement, that's what happened. It got to the point to where the Republicans back in those days, they were systematically shutting down the black schools, integrating them to white schools, knowing that white folk wasn't trying to hear it. So that's where you see all the, you know, all the families, white families, grown ass men and women, throwing rocks at little kids, black kids, calling them the N-word. Go on there! You know, I mean, and so you're a 6-year-old child, and you got hundreds of grown folk, you know, out there wilding on you, to where the police got to stand in front of you every day going in and out of school. How you supposed to learn like that? What if that was going on now? Think about it. You got kids today that are being bullied by their own peers. Mom, Joseph and Joseph bullying me. Well, what if Jessup and Joseph's whole family was bullying you every day and nobody did nothing about it? At least now you can go to the school and talk about your kid being bullied. Back then, nah. Black folk ain't have none of that. None of that. That's why the older black folk now, they look at people sideways like, y'all stupid as hell. Y'all don't know what the hell going on out here. Y'all got it good. Back in our days, back in my days, you know what I'm saying? That's where that came from. But the government knows, regardless of what side you're on, people now aren't looking at history. They could give a damn about what happened back in the damn 60s and 70s and the 20s. And that's why it's so easy for them to get over on you. That's why it's so damn easy. Economic justice. It's the same thing. It's so easy because all they got to do is just post some stupid stuff on social media and you're going to run with it. That's why the Japan and China was so irate with stopping American content on social media from getting over there because they don't want their kids with none of that. Their kids are in primary school, cooking, sewing, learning things. They putting stuff together. Our kids over here, I know kids right now, 6, 7 years old, can't even sit here and write a complete sentence. I'm not calling no name because I got some people close to me in my different families that are living like that right now, 6, 7 years old. Can't even write a complete sentence. And you got Asian kids is sitting out here damn near helping their daddy take a transmission out. America's 47th in education in the world. But anyway, because all they do is they just put their kids, they give their kids a damn phone that they have, a $700 damn iPhone, and all they sit there and do is watch cartoons on YouTube. They don't watch nothing educational. They don't watch nothing that's going to build their brain and build their minds and get them outside and go play and stuff like that. And hell, not trying to be funny, you can't really send too many kids outside to play because cats is snatching kids up. All these Ring cameras, but yet you ain't seen nobody who took little Bethany. Okay. But yet you want to sit there and bitch, whine, and complain because this black dude driving an Amazon truck put the damn Stanley Cup down there. Now you want to call the police. Y'all seen that damn clip? Y'all seen that clip? I got it. I'll post it later if y'all ain't seen it. Where the damn lady called the police on this Amazon driver, black dude. He was delivering packages. And he put the package down and took a picture of it. And before he could get out there, she called the police and said he was stealing. Well, it was one of the packages where you had to sign for it. That's right, you had to sign for it. And because there was no one there, or the fact that she was there, she just didn't come to the door. You can't leave the packages that has to have a signature. So he took the package back. And he was about to drive off, and some big old hoopla started popping off, and she ended up jumping into the truck and grabbing boxes and stuff. And he was like, "Yo, you can't do that," and one thing led to another. He didn't beat her up or fight her or nothing, but she called the police talking about he was assaulting her, and the police just came and automatically told dude and cuffed. He's like, "What you doing?" And so yeah, man. But it's wild as hell, man. I'll post it for y'all, man. I mean, but those are the things that's going on with the Project 2025. They're scapegoats to get you, to divide you so they could do their plan. I keep telling you, Project 2025 right now, this coming out of Donald Trump's own mouth, is 61% complete. And this is what I was trying to explain to y'all. So white folk that's listening, I'm going to go to some of the things because I'm black, so we always go up on on what it does to us. We get it. Civil rights, school systems, gerrymandering, we get it. But for y'all, Project 2025 is going to reduce budget cuts for nutritionals like SNAP. SNAP is literally going to go away. So if your grandmother or grandfather or somebody that has SNAP, that has kids, you know what I'm saying? Like I know homegirls with 3 and 4 children that's on SNAP. That's all about to go away. You dig what I'm saying? Healthcare. We already see the hospitals closing. This affects y'all mostly. What people don't understand is there are more white folk, and people go, well, 39% of all black folk are on health or on government assistance. 41% of white folk on government assistance. Yeah. But then when you break down, that's percentage. But when you break down the numbers, you got to understand there's only 41 million black folk in America. There's over 196 white folk in America. So when you say 39% of black folk on government assistance as opposed to 41% of white folk, we're talking 41% of 196 million. We're talking 39% of just 41 million. You dig what I'm saying? So there's more than twice as many white folk on Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP than it is black folk and other people of color combined. But they'll throw this rhetoric out there that it's affecting the black community. The black community is where all the benefits are. We're going to take away all this. Because they know as soon as they throw a race thing out there, y'all going to jump on it. Y'all going to jump on it. It's been working for them for over 100 years. Why stop now? Why stop now? So they're not. They're going to keep it going. So now you sit there and you vote for these people that are actively telling you they're going to take away your benefits. So now if you can't send your grandparents to the nursing home, because you got to remember, they pays for their nursing home assistance. They pay for their room and food and things of that nature. Okay, well now if they can't go there, they got to come to your house. Now what? You see what I'm saying? So it's going to force low-income families to lose aid even if they need it. People talk about when you go to a hospital right now, I forgot the name of that plan, but basically hospitals can't turn you away, even if you're uninsured, if you're in desperate need. Now with Project 2025, they can. So if you don't have insurance and you got a broke leg and that bone is protruding out, we already know that's a major injury. They can actually turn you away and you will die before you get home or be unalive before you get home. What you think about that? Cuts in education, that goes to Project Esther. We'll talk about that since we don't get it in. Project Esther was passed silently during the bombing of Iran, that 12-day stint where Trump came in there to talk about they silently jumped in and bombed these places. Well, the thing about it was a hoax from the jump. Another hoax, just like he getting shot in the ear. These were nuclear sites that was already deactivated. There was nothing there. There was no there. They bombed an empty shell of a place. They spent nearly $60 million on that operation of bombing a place that had nobody there. That's why it didn't matter whenever he posted about he posted the people's names and the different bombing, the B-52s, the stealth bombers going back to Minnesota. It didn't matter to Iran, and that's why they were like, we're not going to attack them for what? They didn't do anything. Now, if they would have went into a city or something and bombed them, it'd have been on to the break. It'd have been on. You did. They bombed in nothing. They literally bombed nothing. They spent all these millions of dollars to bomb nothing. The Project Esther is the continuation of Project 2025, and it gets for real. I told y'all white folk about that. Let me tell y'all something. The Heritage Foundation started this. And a lot of y'all Republicans, y'all know exactly who the Heritage Foundation is. Y'all know exactly who the hell they is. They're the most consistent and potent right-wing foundation literally since the KKK. And they have contributed hundreds of millions of dollars to people like Reagan, the Bushes, Trump. They was one of the most staunch reasons why Trump got elected at the beginning, other than him rigging the election. But we ain't gonna go there. We ain't gonna go there. But that's why he was so animate on when Biden won, because they had a system set up. They knew, and like I said, these is Kevin McCarthy and people like that. They've been telling you. They knew that no one was literally going to check that, because never in history has anyone ever done that before. They've never rigged an election like that. You know, we're not talking about after segregation passed and black people coming up to vote and you got the gumball machines and you got to guess how many gumballs in there, then you can vote. You know, we're not talking about that. We're talking about straight going in and tampering and getting it in. And that's why so many of those people went to jail in all these different states. Y'all, y'all can't be oblivious to this. People in Georgia still in jail right now from the Republican parties. People in Minnesota, people in Wisconsin. Remember all that? That's why that Supreme Court case was popping off. They got a new state Supreme Court judge over there because of that. Because one of them going to jail. Arizona, you know, Y'all remember old girl down there wilding out, just in North Carolina, just last year in North Carolina, where they just had a case of that. You know, with dude from the Republican side, he was a justice, Supreme Court justice there, and he lost by like 700 votes. It wasn't like he lost by 6,000 votes. He lost by like 700 votes. They did a recount. He lost that again. He did another recount and lost that again. So then they tried to, I mean, they funded over like $14 million on trying to collude people to side with him and say that old girl didn't win. And yeah, man, it was like a farm system to see what was going on. But the Heritage Foundation, they wild, bro. But what they're trying to do is, I got it right here. I wrote down some of the main points of Project Esther, and you can go check it out. It's, like I said, it just passed, so it's public. But they know you're not gonna check on it because of all this nonsense that's going on out here now. But let me give you some of the points before it's time for y'all to go back in from lunch. All children will be homeschooled via religion. Why do you think they're trying to cut all the public funding for these schools? They're literally trying to make sure that everyone now is homeschooled. They don't want to give you no education outside of public housing. They don't want none of that. They don't want none of that. They don't want you interacting with none of them. They don't want these children to know nothing. Teachers, that's why they're not trying to pay y'all. Remember on my other episode when I said ICE agents was getting $100,000 with a $40,000 bonus? The majority of the teachers in America, they make around $40,000 or less. That's why they're not trying to give y'all no more money. They're trying to get rid of the teacher system altogether. Okay, the Heritage Foundation was the main reason why you had all these police and stuff at all these different colleges. The Heritage Foundation was supposed to be to stop anti-Semitism. But that was just their way of infiltrating the systems in these colleges. That's why Trump is openly trying defunding these colleges. They're not telling you about how he's able to do it. He's able to do it through Project Esther, because that's what that's doing. It's defunding colleges around that he don't want to have anything going on. That's why Brown University just bent the knee. But here's the thing, though. The director of Brown University is a part of the Heritage Foundation. So if you see a news break or something like that, they talk about Brown University worked out a deal with the Trump administration to get their funding back, that's why. I think I got dude's name. I think I got his name. Let me go back real quick just to make sure. Just to make sure. Yeah. Larry P. Armin, president of Hillside College. Robert George, president of Princeton. Rebecca Mercer University. Yeah, man, it's all of them. Even former attorney generals is in that. But they want all children to be homeschooled through the Bible. Through the Bible. No more history about Christopher Columbus or Harriet Tubman. No more none of that. You will be taught through the Bible. Anyone who resists, they will have re-education camps to repurpose your brain to make you compliant. So, if you said, oh, my child ain't going to be homeschooled. Oh, well, yeah, your child is. And guess what? He going to be taught through the Bible that they see fit to have your damn child taught. And if you don't like it, they going to take your child, send them to re-education camps where they will be taught there, repurpose their brain to not even give a crap about nothing but what they say. So yeah, your rights is gone. This is what Kamala and all them was talking about. These laws are already done before they come up and made public, people. This is why when you see these people talk about certain laws, you go, well, I've never heard of that. You ain't going to until it comes and made public. They got to have enough people to back it, to present it, then vote upon it. You don't know Ford is dropping a new Mustang until it's made public via commercials. They're not going to sit there and tell you while they're constructing, while they got their pen and pad and drawing the damn thing. They, like you on Instagram, like, yo, yeah, I'm up here now, formulating this new Mustang. Yeah, check it out. You dig? Yeah, it'll probably come out around 2027, but yo, it's going to be crazy. Y'all better get y'all money now. They're not doing that. Abortion is criminal, and if you have an abortion, you will be sentenced to. There is no 25 years. There's no $5,000 fine. If they find out you had an abortion, don't matter what color you are, you're gone. You out of here. You're going to see a Tupac is really in heaven with Elvis. It's been written in place of the Constitution. Remember when Trump was saying he don't know why y'all so wrapped up in the Constitution? It's just a grumble up piece of paper. Remember he said that? He said if he had his way, he'd tear it up and write it in his likeness. Remember he said that during the rallies? Yeah. Project Esther has been written in place of the Constitution and biblical law. They're using the Bible as law to control people. There will be only one religion. You can't be Baptist. You can't be Episcopalian. You can't be Methodist. You can't be Catholic. There's one religion. You can't be Muslim. You can't be a Seventh-day Adventist. There's one religion. The religion they see fit to be. No outside practice of what they put in place. None. So y'all Muslims or y'all practicing Muslims and y'all living in America, ain't none of that happening, bro. If they tell you gonna eat that rise and gravy and pork chop, you eating that rise and gravy and pork chop. If you're a Seventh-day Adventist and they say that's a wrap, I'm sorry. It is what it is. If you're a Baptist and they say that's gone, I'm sorry, it is what it is. If you're evangelical and they say, you know what, we love y'all voting for Trump, but that's gone too. You know what? Oh, well. Oh, well. They'll be putting surveillance trackers in you. Upon birth, you will get an injection. It will be an electronic tracker. They will track you. Just like how GPS works. Same thing. Like semis, they got Qualcomm systems. Them bubbles that you see on the top of the trucks. It lets the trucking companies know where their trucks are. Y'all gonna have that. We all gonna have that in well, y'all is, because I ain't over there. I ain't in America. Y'all gonna have that over there now. So once this all goes into total effect, and I know y'all watching like, man, you stupid. I ain't happening. Bruh, y'all didn't think they would get rid of Roe versus Wade either. Y'all didn't think they would arrest people for having an abortion. Yeah. Y'all didn't think that they would have the military in because you protesting friendly. What's happening? Don't tell me that they're not going to do something. Because everything they said they were doing, they did. Women are no longer considered people. I didn't say black women. I didn't say white women. I said women are no longer considered people. You be once again property of your husband. You can no longer drive, vote, wear your hair and clothes how you want. You must gain permission from your husband or father to do anything. They got rid of Roe. I told y'all that your dog have more rights than you do. Last year, I can bring up the damn letter. I can bring up the comments on my TikTok page. Project Esther. Sterilization. At birth, they will sterilize you, and when you come of age to have babies, they will put implants of lab babies inside you in order to keep their race going. Remember, I told you, the architect of Project 2025, Stephen Miller, what did he say? Only 100 million people will live in America. White people that look, think like him. It's 196 million of us right now. Now, there are kids born every day. So the last census report was 196 million white folk. Now, I told y'all in that last post, 96 million white folk got to get out of here. One way or the other, whether it be deported or they're already trying to bring back hanging. Not just for black people. Hanging as another point of death, like instead of being on death row because they see that's too much money. They're going to hang you. Population control. 100 million. No more LGBTQ. Hold on, boo-boo. You're either straight or they unalive you. Guys, you're either straight or you gonna go to that, you gonna go meet Liberace in the sky. If you are a gay man, you will be forced to marry a woman. If you are a gay woman, you will be forced to marry a man to use your womb for giving birth. So, if you're a gay man and you do not comply with them, they will make sure you stop breathing. If you comply with them and choose to live the horrible life, they will force you to marry a woman and procreate. And if you're a woman, you have no say-so in none of this. Remember, you are property. So you will be married to whomever they see fit. I don't want to hear that, I ain't trying to be messing with him. Child, you beneath me. Ain't nobody worrying about you. No, boo-boo. You are beneath every man on this planet. You, my dear woman, is nothing now. To the United States government and Project Esther, every woman in America is property. Just like my cell phone, just like my car outside. You property, man. You ain't no damn body. You property. You gonna do what the hell I tell you to do. Well, not me. Black people ain't gonna be in this country. Extermination project going on. Project Esther. Y'all better go look it up. Anyway, just want to give y'all that. I ain't gonna hold you. I know y'all think I'm booger jugging. All right. Y'all thought they were booger jugging with Roe versus Wade. Yep, y'all thought they were booger jugging with that. Y'all fucked around and found out. You're gonna fuck around and find out again in a little bit. Remember what Donald Trump said at his last rally? Vote for me and you never have to vote again. All my Christians, all my evangelicals, if you vote for me, you'll never have to vote again. I'll make sure of it. I'll make sure of it. You'll never have to vote again. This is what he said. This is why Project 2025 and Project Esther, he getting rid of all that. Getting rid of all that. Y'all didn't want to vote for the sister girl because she was a sister. And now you ain't going to have to worry about voting no more at all. They're eating your pets. They're not eating your pets. They just knew that was a smoke screen that your ass was going to listen to. And now your grandma and your granddad and them is going to subsequently pass away because they don't have the benefits to keep them alive because you ain't going to have them in your house. You ain't taking care of them old people. You ain't changing their diaper, wiping their behinds. You ain't feeding them. You ain't doing none of that. They need some medical assistance. Well, hell, all the hospitals closing down. You got to think about it. I live in, a crib up there in Kentucky, and down there in Hazard County over there, they got to drive 2 hours to a hospital because they closed down a hospital close to them down there. They're doing, half the hospitals in Atlanta closed or closing, and that's Atlanta. Hell, there's like 6 million people in Atlanta. America, Project 2025, Project Esther. Remember they said that Project 2025 was a Democratic hoax. And as soon as he got elected, Project 2025 came to be. They're going to say whatever they want to say to get elected. And now they're elected. They done spent more money in 7 months than Biden spent in 4 years, including the Build Back Better bill. Kristi Noem has already spent over $80 million in 7 months with ICE. That was supposed to have been for 2 years. It's only been 7 months. They spent over $45 million on Alligator Alcatraz. But they can't pay y'all teachers. They're taking away all your SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid. But they ain't got no money. But yet they spent $100 million bombing in Iran a building that had nobody there. It ain't had people there for years. But they spending too much. The Democrats spend too much money. No, they don't. The money that they spend is the money that they gotta spend to build back up the building that y'all Republicans tore down. If you buy a house and the people before you put holes all in the house, holes all in the wall, holes all in the floor, you got to spend more money to fix it up than you would just moving in, right? But that's metaphorically speaking on what Biden had to do when Trump left. You got to remember, Trump spent more money in 4 years than the previous 42 presidents combined. And in 7 months, they've already spent more money than Biden had to spend in 4 years cleaning up Trump's first mess. It ain't never been about money. It's all about lies. And they have lied their way into finally getting the country they wanted. A 100% white America. But the problem is for that, half y'all white folk in America won't be here to see it either. Because they want to get rid of you. All y'all women on disability, y'all out of here. All y'all women that's former military, that can't procreate, that can't really do anything for the government, y'all out of here. Gay women, you either gonna procreate with a man that they put in front of you, or they gonna get rid of you too. All y'all men out there, all y'all hunched over and can't work, can't get it in, getting rid of y'all too. I vote Republican because my dad voted Republican because his dad voted Republican, so I'm voting Republican too. Okay, cool. Cool. They know that. That's why they did what they did. And that's why they doing what they doing to you. Good luck with that. You know how that works out. I already know. Project 2025 and Project Esther told me. And I told y'all. But just like that woman of color that y'all just ain't no way in hell was gonna vote for, told y'all. You about to fuck around and find out. 196 million white folk in this country. 96 million of y'all gotta go. Y'all gonna pull straws and find out which one? Or y'all just gonna let them decide for you? Yeah, man, Rashawn, you already know who it is. That's what's up. Holla at your man. Like, subscribe, share button if you choose to. Go check my music out, Spotify, iTunes, all them other places where you get it from. Other than that, I'm holler at y'all tomorrow about some more music stuff. Y'all better go check out Project 2025 and Project Esther, because y'all think I'm booger jugging. Yeah, man, Rashawn. And you are on my block. Peace.